Greg Pickle, we are getting close to the end of the season, or are we? Maybe not.
Maybe
they might
not.
have to play about 9 more games.
That's right.
The way this is going, but I think it's a good idea right now to talk about some of Penn State's true freshman offensive linemen that may or may not be playing due to injury. There's really 3 I wanted to talk about with you today after James Franklin's news conference. I think everyone knows a little bit about Michael Mennett's recruitment.
Yeah.
Exeter Township star. A lot of people thought he was one of the best players in the state. A great get, a guard prospect. Greg, it doesn't seem like he's of the 2 people that James is thinking of playing. I think Mennett is not really at the top priority.
Yep. But
one person who is Will Fries from New Jersey, offensive tackle. James sounded like they're getting him ready to play. My question for you is, what do you remember about his recruitment? Anything at all strike you about him when Penn State was pursuing him?
Yeah, this was a kid that I think people sort of got lost in the recruiting class because McGovern, Connor McGovern, and Michael Mennett were such the focus of that class that I think people forgot about Will Fries. I mean, this is a guy that played for a very good Cranford, New Jersey team. Mm-hmm. He had almost 20 offers. Michigan was a school that offered him at one point. So there were a handful of top programs that wanted to go into New Jersey and steal this kid. Penn State was able to get the job done. And they've loved him from day one. He has prototypical tackle size, and he's a big guy. But again, I think he got lost in the recruiting shuffle with Mennett and McGovern, the 2 PA guys, being really at the front of people's focus.
Right.
And he's a kid that it's not surprising to anyone that followed his high school playing that he would be able to play immediately when he got to campus.
Right. One of the reasons that James Franklin has spent a lot of time talking about Will Fries is Penn State lost Paris Palmer in the Indiana win.
Yep.
Brendan Mann is not out for the year, but James is very hesitant to include him in any future plans. He's obviously dealing with something there, and also Andrew Nelson and Chance Sorrell are not available for Penn State.
Noah Bay not either.
Noah Bay, obviously, good point, suspended. So the priority is to find an offensive tackle in case anything else happens. The way that Penn State ended the game against Indiana, they had Ryan Bates move from guard to left tackle. Yeah. Chaz Wright played the right tackle spot. As they get ready for Rutgers, you're hearing about Mennett, you're hearing about Will Fries. But out of the blue a little bit, James Franklin said, hey, maybe there's one other true freshman offensive lineman that you guys maybe need to know a little bit more about, and that's the January enrollee, Alex Gellerstedt.
Yep.
What can you tell me about him and his recruitment?
Yeah, the pride of Dublin, Ohio. He was a guy that really liked Herb Hand, and that was part of the reason he picked Penn State. The Lions are lucky that, obviously Herb Hand left. Alex Gellerstedt did not. Mm-hmm. His early enrollment probably a factor in that, but he has progressed well. He's another one of those guys that you look at and he just looks different from the time he got on campus to now. January obviously helps with that. I don't think it was necessarily that he wasn't as far along and progressed as quickly as Connor McGovern. I don't think there was a huge gap. I think it was just Penn State needed a guard at the time. It didn't need a tackle. And now we're on the reverse end of that where it needs a tackle, not a guard. I think they have to pick one of them. I don't know if you really, unless you absolutely have to because of injury, want to burn both Gellerstedt and Fries' redshirt. And it sounds like Fries is the guy that's just a touch farther along.
Okay, so regardless of whether they play, Greg, we're talking about Ryan Bates, redshirt freshman, Michael Mennett, true freshman, Will Fries, true freshman, Alex Gellerstedt, true freshman. It seems to me that James Franklin and maybe yourself, you kind of feel like the future for the Penn State offensive line is pretty good.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, these guys obviously were highly recruited. Penn State hasn't had a ton of highly recruited guys, and guess what? James Franklin's been a lot of times saying you need 3 years before you want to play an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
If you have good ones, you don't need that long.
Right. And I don't want to forget Connor McGovern.